Let's get into this for a moment. What do you really believe in your most private moments? What do you believe about God? I mean, sometimes I think that there's this fear that a lot of people have of really kind of getting into what they really truly believe, their own personal beliefs. Because what happens is you learn to think like the group. You have to think as they think. Because you don't want to be different. You don't want to really honestly answer a question. See, there's a kind of like, it's like not necessarily lying, but you don't really want to be honest either because you're afraid of what you might discover. You know, maybe if you're in a group of people doing anything, it doesn't matter what it is, and you suddenly realize, I don't really believe in this stuff. I really don't believe in it. Or maybe I believe some parts of it, but I don't believe all of it. You know, look, I'm going to tell you honest truth. I really do believe in God, even if that's irrational. I'm not going to argue with people about that. You know, because arguing means basically somebody's trying to convert you or convince you that what you believe is stupid or something or whatever. And I'm not going to get into that. You know, if you want to think I'm stupid, fine. Go ahead and, you know, if that gets you through the day, go ahead and think it. But there are things I'm very skeptical of. Specific things that people get into. Like, I don't think God sits there and looks at people and say, well, this person I'm going to save and that person I'm going to kill and that person I'm going to save from a plane crash and that person, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe in a real sense the way I would put it, and I know that a lot of religious people I grew up with probably would, you know, freak out, but I don't believe in a personal God. At least not in the way that I think religious people like to think, that God is a person who gets upset and angry and has emotions. And no, I think that there is something that is kind of, we can't really define it, but it's not irrational to think that there's a God, that there is something at the source of everything, no matter how you describe it or explain it or whatever. I think any specific attempts at explaining it always miss the mark. But it's okay to just think in general that there's a God without trying to define exactly what God is. But something that's like we are part of a greater intelligence, if you will. Whatever way you want to. I mean, I think any particular explanation I get into, of course, people who want to analyze the hell out of things can analyze it and ask me questions. Well, what do you mean specifically about? You know, then you won. If you want to, if that's your point, is to debate me and show that I'm wrong because you have to be right, then you win the debate. Okay, I give it to you. So we don't have to go into all that. We don't have to get into a debate and we don't have to argue about it. So I'm not going to do that. But there are things I'm skeptical of. You know, people always talk about when people die, they go to heaven. I don't know about that. People die, they go to hell if you're a bad person. You know, different religions believe different things. Some of them, like Jehovah's Witnesses, don't. You know, it's not so much believe in. They think there's a heaven, but only certain specific select people are going there, and they're going to be more or less the people who rule the world. And everybody else will be on the earthly paradise, the good people. The bad people will just simply die. They'll be dead. They won't be burning up anywhere. You know, I guess that's a nice thing to think that at least they won't be burning up. But still, I think it's all just stuff people make up. It's imaginary. Now, when it comes to talking about God, I don't think it's any more irrational to believe that there's a God than it is to believe that you live in the United States. And you might say, well, wait a minute, the United States is real. No, when you really think about it, there are things that are real. Yeah, a flag is real. You know, fences put up around borders are real, and so on and so forth. However, it is in our minds. You know, it is something that we must think it. I was thinking one time, I was sitting on a porch one day, and just thinking. Nothing special happened, but it was just, and then there was a dog and a cat there. And I was thinking, you know, that dog and that cat have no idea they live in the United States. You know why? Because the United States is a thought. It's an ideal. It's a concept, if you will. Yeah, we may build physical things you can touch. You know, you can touch walls, you can touch flags. You can look as you cross a bridge going from El Paso into Mexico, going over into Juarez. And there's a land, Mexico, USA. Right there. These two flags on either side of the bridge. The U.S. flag on one side and the Mexican flag on the other, right next to each other. So you know when you crossed over, you know. you see visual clues. There they are. And you say, well, that's the United States. But you know what? It's an ideal. You know, a squirrel hopping across that bridge has no concept of anything called countries or borders. That's purely a human thing. It's purely a human thing. It doesn't exist in nature. There are no nations in nature. That's just a fact. You know, so that's not any more irrational than that. But you know what? The thing is what makes things real to us is the way we act about it. Our behavior toward it, the way we respond to things. That's what makes things real. You know. So, I don't think it's crazy to believe in God. I just think that specific details become, you know, and this is just my own personal, again, I'm getting back to what I personally believe. I think that people want to believe a lot of things, so they make up a lot of stuff that is very pleasing to them. You know, when somebody dies, they go to heaven. They go to this nice, wonderful place where they're happy, and that is, you know, I was listening to this song, somebody's singing about heaven, you know, are you up there in heaven dancing and enjoying the sunlight? Is it wonderful? Is it great? You know, but yeah, you can believe that because it would be a nice thought to think, you know. It's a nice thought to think that somebody's just totally enjoying themselves and they're really happy and they are free from all these earthly worries and whatever. In some other dimension somewhere. It's a nice thought. But to me, that's all it is. It's just a thought. Is it really the case? Well, I can't prove it isn't. And to me, I don't feel a need to sit there and put other people down if they believe that. What matters to me, you know, everyday life is really just the things that happen every day. It's the things that happen every day. How do you conduct yourself? How do you deal with me? What happens, you know? Are you interested in doing something to me bad? Are you interested in dealing with me in a good way? That's what I care about. Whatever gets you through, whether it's real or fantasy or whatever, however you want to define it, fine. You know, I don't have issues with that. I'm not an atheist because I don't disbelieve in God. I just don't believe the way most people believe. I don't think God actually sits there and specifically does specific things to people over specific little petty things. That's just the way it is with me. You know, if you ask me for a definition, I'm probably going to be pretty poor at it. So, you know, if you wanted to debate me, you could easily win a debate with me all day long. You could win. If winning is what matters, you can win forever about that. So, and that's all I have to say. This is a video that goes nowhere. It says nothing.